Hi, this is Tina coming to you from the Cuba Library with this week's edition of What's New. So today we're going to start with the Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. Now Lisa Wingate had a book on the bestsellers list for months and months called Before We Were Yours, and this one I expect will be just as popular. It takes place right after the Civil War. And this title, The Book of Lost Friends, is based on lost friends ads that were placed in newspapers by former slaves who were looking for their friends and loved ones who'd been sold away. So they place ads in the papers trying to locate them. It jumps back and forth, the narrative between 1875 Louisiana and 1987 Louisiana. And it's three friends in the 1875 part of it who are traveling together, and then 1987 part is about a teacher. And if it's anything like her last book, I'm sure she ties those two stories together masterfully. So, The Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. A great choice if you're a fan of historic fiction. Next is a book for our little patrons who are just learning to read, The Unicorn Diaries. This is number 2 in that series, Bo and the Dragon Pup. If you have little ones who are learning to read, you may recognize this style from the Owl Diaries. So Rebecca Elliott has started a new series, The Unicorn Diaries, and they're really colorful, beautiful pictures. Kids love them. They can fly right through them. This is about Bo the unicorn meeting a dragon and trying to find out if that dragon is scary or friendly. We have 2 of these. There's a new one coming out, I think, next month. So that's a good one for like 1st or 2nd grade readers. This one is for older readers, 4th, 5th, 6th grade perhaps, and it's about Tilly Pages, and she lives with her grandparents, and she helps work in their bookstore, which is called Pages and Company. Her mom went missing shortly after she was born, so she never really knew her mother or grandparents have raised her. Well, one day when she's in the bookstore going to her favorite reading spot, she sees this girl sitting in her spot with long, bright red hair, and she asks her, "Oh, you're in my spot. Who are you?" And the girl says, "I'm Anne with an E." And it turns out she's Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. And this is when Tilly discovers that characters from her favorite books are wandering around the bookstore. And she discovers she can follow them back into the books, or she can even go into other books and have grand adventures. Which sounds amazing, doesn't it? But also there's lots of dangerous adventures that take place in books. And also, maybe she can discover the reason why her mom is missing. So, this book was purchased with a memorial donation in honor of Dolores Cross. And the reason I chose this one is because Dolores was such a big supporter of the library and reading. And so it seemed like a good choice to go with her. This is book 1 in the series. There is also another book in the series that we have in too. Next, for our picture book of the week, we have No More Naps by Chris Grabenstein. Annalise, Devin McFleece, does not want a nap, and she's making sure everyone knows it. So her dad decides to put her in the stroller and take her on a walk. And as she is being strolled through the park, refusing to take a nap, everyone they go past decides they want to take a nap. Until before you know it, there's no more naps left for Annalise to take. So it's a really cute one. Any parent out there can relate to a kid who is determined not to take a nap. So there you go. No more naps. Next, we have the new Stephen King. Now, I'm not a fan of horror. My imagination is much too vivid to read horror, but I know there are many people who love to read horror. So here we go, the new Stephen King, If It Bleeds. It's 4 short stories, but not too short. You can see maybe like little novellas. and he brings into them some of his past characters. Holly Gibney from The Outsiders is in one of the stories. He's such a master storyteller and at weaving together his stories across the decades. So here we go. If It Bleeds, it's a good choice for those who are Stephen King fans or horror fans, or maybe short story fans. Our last choice for this week is a young adult graphic novel called Dragon Hoops by Gene Luen Yang. This is an autobiographical story. Gene is a teacher at a high school, and this high school is obsessed with basketball. But Gene himself never really liked sports as a kid and doesn't really get why the school's so obsessed with basketball. Well, the school's in the running for the California State Championship. So he decides to make that story, the story of the team and their journey to the championship, the subject of his next book. So he talks about that decision, and he talks about his own life and family in the book, but he also focuses on the story of the coaches and the story of the kids and the history of basketball. And there's some Superman thrown in here too. It's just a really well written book.